Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, great timing, guys. Uh, cool. So, firstly, welcome to Build 2.0 Induction. I think Sunday को ये सब करने के लिए to take out time I think shows a lot of dedication. So you guys are already a winner. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you Rajdeep and Rohit for being here even though this is not directly affecting you. So thank you for taking time for all of us. Uh, some disclaimer before we start. This is not going to be a very formal call. This is not going to be something jahan pe, we have a structured way of thinking. This is just literally me talking to you as transparently as I can. It's more of a one-to-one, and yeah. So just absorb it in that way, right? Uh, so we'll break down this conversation into what, why, and how. So let's start with the what. What are we here about, right? So what is build as a framework? Build ka idea is to share this whole framework with you that makes sure that you do everything that is required to come out of this 90 days series of challenge as a skilled UI designer. As someone who understands colors, patterns, affordance, placement of UI elements, and you can actually end up creating like a clean and attractive UI. And don't think of yourself as someone who's creating a lot of screens. So maybe as an illustrator. No, we are not illustrators. But if we are paired with an illustrator, we can come up with some great UI screens, right? And let's actually talk about UI design. For people who are there, who are here with an intention, why do you want to learn it? What is your motivation? And I luckily have a screen next to me, so I can actually read your comments. So yeah, this is gonna be a very conversational thing throughout. So yeah, why don't you tell me what is your motivation to actually learn UI? And I'm looking at comments. And I think there is gonna be a delay between me speaking and you guys hearing, so I'm thinking they'll kick in some time to get better with the craft. Aditya Mishra, okay, that's a good motivation to have. Others? I can draw hearts to it. To express our thoughts better, to create delight for users. Nice. Making people see through your eyes. It's just awesome. Okay, nice. To get into more fields except graphic design. To get disciplined. To be a better product designer. That's nice. Honestly, don't need motivation, just know that I want to be a very good designer. Okay. That's a great motivation in itself, isn't it? Making people smile whenever they interact with digital products, to bring life to a product, create without limitations, learn more, explore more, to make some money. You're already making money, Shafid. Get better and quicker with iterations. Wanted to post consistently but had no major reason, but this is, I guess, posting it. ठीक है, फिर ख़त्म करते हैं. I think you guys have enough motivation already. क्या ही कर रहा हूँ फिर मैं? No, I think but everything that you said makes complete sense, and I think these are all great motivations to have. So I think the what of build is very clear. Let's talk about why. Now, in this whole polarized world of people having different opinions about what is the right way to actually go about product design, what it holds, what you should do as a product designer, I think people are polarized. There are different segments to it, and I, along with all of them, also have an opinion. I still belong to the subset that feels design is still a part of art. It's still a lot about expression, about how you see the world, how you envision things. It's about imagination and putting how you think about things out there. I think people are still very artistic. If that was not the case, then all the world's app would look the same. There would have never been any distinction how why a Zomato looks different than a Swiggy or an Uber Eats. it does look different because there are different people sitting there thinking about things differently, and they're creating their own versions of what they feel is the best. Now, what's happening recently in this field, like the design in terms of tech kind of rose from ashes around graphic design years back, and dheere dheere karke a new field kind of came out, which was UI UX design, and then some people moved into it. But now we are seeing a lot of people getting into product design as a field, and there could be different reasons for it. I would love to know what you guys, why did you guys join design? And I mean, drop in the comments there. I want to know. It's not even about getting better at UI, but why design? Maybe you were someone who was really good at science as a kid. You were doing a lot of different things. You were not that person who was, creating paintings on a canvas. But somehow, around this stage of your life, you said, you know what, even though maybe I'm studying engineering right now, I want to be a designer. What is the why that you guys are holding with yourself to be here? To add substance in my day-to-day work by problem solving. Okay. Popular field in art nowadays. Okay. To solve problems. Product design is a combo of tech, psychology, and design. Okay. Design plus technology is okay. Passion for product design. Add value to users and products. I love all three. That's great. I am an engineer, but I don't like programming, so I start designing. I mean, that's the most honest and candid thing to say, and that is completely fine. Don't want to code. What is your why? That maybe I will be able to cover some part of it in the story ahead. Don't want to code. Also, why UI skill is a bit overshadowed by UX designers. Okay, there is a reason for that too. Right. Shafin, I was waiting for you to say for the money. I'm not seeing that comment. सब इतने अच्छे लोग आएंगे यहाँ पे. No one has any practical reason to join design, is it? Actually, I would love to know, like, honestly, which all of you folks here are here because this feels like this is the next booming field and there's good money in it right now. And I'm here to tell you that that's a completely fair motivation to have. But, like, be honest about it is all I'm saying. As an architect, I like designs and that's all problem. Love history. Yeah, see, there came a... See, this guy's honest. Like, it's money, 100%. And there's yes. There's my mentor saying, money, ghanta, money. Partly yes, paisa hi paisa. See, that's the most honest way to go about it. And I think this is something that I actually want you to understand. See, this field is not gate kept by people who were always artists standing out. Like, life is 100 years का game. अब तक हमने सिर्फ 20% खेला, and whatever we did in that 20% defined what we presently are. That means there's still time to mold yourself into something else. And it's completely fair that before this space, it was not something that you were deeply into in terms of, you're not the artist of the class or something like that. That's completely fine. It kind of, makes sense to you now. You're joining it right now. And the next 5 to 10 years, it will evolve you into something completely different. And that's completely fine. So don't let anyone tell you that just because you were never someone who was into art, but now that you're joining design, it's because of any unfair reasons. Like, whatever's the motivation, all that matters is, are you fair with it after this? Like, kya tum dil se ye cheez kar rahe ho after this point in time? And that will define what the next version of you is going to be like. So this is a field where everyone is welcome. There is no one who should feel like, just because I was not this before, I don't get to be here. I think design is something that completely works on proof of work. It doesn't discriminate in terms of which college you come from, what age you are of right now, how much experience you have in a different field altogether. None of that matters as long as your work is amazing. Okay. So, yeah, I think let's think a bit about this way, right? Now, a lot of you might have seen these posts on LinkedIn and Dribble where people talk about, uh, you know, those posts which says this is not like UX is better than UI. I think someone actually asked this, why is it overshadowed that way, right? You'll see recruiters say that don't show me your Dribble profile as your portfolio. People will say that things that you see on Dribble are not feasible. They're not something that can be developed. So why are people talking about it? And so let me tell you what happens in this space, right? Now, every space has a very different reason why it exists. Dribble as a space is all about innovation. Like, while there is a part of the world which is working in the space of current constraints, abhi ke time pe phone screen is the screen that you have to work with. While there's the major crowd that is working in that space, someone out there has to work in the less explored areas. Someone out there has to be like, while the world is gonna play by the rules, someone has to go out there and break the rules. So people who are there on Dribble, they are not trying to create what already exists. They're trying to create what will be the next thing that comes in. Those people are innovating. So it's not like, so when recruiters say don't show me your Dribble profile, I think it's stupidity to judge someone's area of expertise of working in the current constraints by a space that is all around innovation. Like जो बंदा ड्रिबल पे पोस्ट कर रहा है उसका बेहांस प्रोफाइल भी है, वहाँ जाओ, उसने केस स्टडी भी डाल रखे होंगे, जज हिम बाय दैट इफ यू वांट टू जज हिम इन दैट स्पेस. And the problem here is people who have never been part of the art and this new influx of people who are coming in, and the reason behind having all those posts around is UX better or is UI better, the reason it exists is because there are people out there who get into this, right? Now, the good thing about UX is it's knowledge. And knowledge, like any other form of understanding, can be gained by reading books, by listening to people who are in the field, because knowledge acquired ho jata hai. So the UX part of things, they come at a basic level much more easily than UI, which is not knowledge, it is pure skill. So someone who is an artist throughout their life, right, जो क्लास में बैठ के ड्राइंग बनाते थे, सारे चार्ट्स वगैरह बनाते थे, after hammering this for years and years, they have a taste. They know that which two colors sit well. They have a better understanding of white space. It comes much more easily to them because their whole life they have been doing this. But someone who's not, who has not worked on this throughout their life, they try. They don't give up. They try. But it takes a lot more time to hammer that thing into your skill set. And utna patience हर किसी के पास होता नहीं है. So the next easier thing to say is, if I can't get it, let me shit on it. It's a very normal human nature. And that's when you'll see people go like, oh, you know what, UX is more important than UI. Like, whoever said they're not part of design itself? Like, you are made by everything that you say and everything that you look like. Like, I cannot take one part out of you and be like, आदमी तो अच्छा नहीं है but दिखता बहुत अच्छा है. Like, that will never work out, right? It always has to come together of all different parts coming together and making something good or bad. So I don't want and see, the people who are here, you're already amazing because you said I'm not going to sit and shit on it, but I'll find a way to improve it. And I think that's what matters. So thank you so much for taking that step, because you guys are the next generation of designers and you will be influencing a lot of people around you. So I think you have the best interests in mind and you have the best way to think about these things too. Now, while this is a very philosophical way to look at it, let's talk about some practical reasons why this skill set is important. Now, our industry is divided into different forms of structuring in terms of design teams. A Google out there has this whole segment where they have different interaction designers, different UI designers, and different UX designers. They have their own streams ki unka principal UX designer is different, their principal interaction designer is different, right? And at the same time, there is something like Apple. Apple says we want generalists, we are looking for people who can do UI, UX interaction, all three. In Indian's ecosystem, a similar structuring is between, let's say, a Dream11, which has your different fields put together. Your UI is different, UX is different, interaction is different. At the same time, there is a Swiggy, which again says that, I need generalists who can do all the three. The problem is not that you say that, you know what, I am really great at UX, that's all I want to do. That is a completely fine call to make. But the problem comes is the division between these two segments. There's a proper only 10 to 15% in the industry of employers who actually have UI UX and interaction different. But जो बंदा already तीनों चीज़ें कर रहा है, they are not segregating. They are applying to 100% of these pool. But you are only applicable to 15%. So what happens is your competition doesn't decrease. It's actually much more, but the applicable space is much lesser. They enjoy 100% of the range. You only have 15%, but the competition is still the same, which is all of them together there. So when you have this, you're in this space, it becomes very difficult for you to face that competition, right? And on a personal level, I want you to think about it. I think the biggest limitation as a designer that you can have is you have this amazing idea in your head. You're like, you know what, ये ऐसे होगा, फिर ये ऐसे आएगा, ये साथ में ऐसा दिखेगा. Imagine having so much power of visualization in your head, but not being able to put it down on paper. Imagine being so restricted that I have a great idea, but I need this another person to attach themselves to me to put this idea out there. And trust me, it will never happen. जो तुम्हारे दिमाग में है ना, जब खुद से ही बनाते हो उसी में इतना चीज़ें आगे पीछे हो जाती हैं. लाइक जब कोई और तुम्हारा आइडिया लेके बनाएगा ना, इट विल ऑलवेज हैव अ चाइनीज़ विस्पर एलिमेंट टू इटसेल्फ. तुम बोलोगे कुछ, वो बनाएगा शायद थोड़ा सा कुछ और, एंड फिर वो अपना टच भी डालेगा बिकॉज ये बंदा आर्टिस्ट है. ये किसी भी चीज़ को अपने अंडरसाइन के बिना नहीं डालेगा. सो एज अ डिज़ाइनर आई डोंट थिंक यू शुड एवर बी इन अ पोजिशन कि मेरे पास आइडियाज़ बहुत तगड़े हैं, बट क्या बताऊँ मैं डाल नहीं सकता वहाँ पे. आई नीड समवन एल्स टू डू इट फॉर मी. आई डोंट थिंक दैट लिमिटेशन इज समथिंग दैट शुड एवर हैव. Now this is the why part of it. Like, why should you be good at this? Why should you not be okay by not being able to put across your ideas anywhere? Now let's talk about the how. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you a story which is gonna cover what someone said ki what is my why to be here, right? And yeah, so I'm gonna share that story with you. Very few people in my life know about this. But there are few things I want to do right for you which I didn't have an opportunity for myself. So yeah, let's talk about it. So I'm very much passionate about what I do. I love design. Like, I feel I'm one of those lucky ones who can say that I love what I do what I love, and I feel I'm extremely lucky to have something like that with me. So I appreciate it. I always, you know, dharm hi karam hai wala scene. Sorry, karam hi dharm hai. Like, it's that important for me. Like, I respect this field that much. Now, before I bonded with design to this extent, I bonded with fitness, and then that in itself was a journey of its own, right? And it's not like I joined the gym for the best reasons. Like, it never had this whole, you know, enlightenment ki, oh fuck, you know what, I want to be I want to better my health or something like that. No, I started with the most negative reasons to join that space. It was kind of partially dark, so I wouldn't even bother you with that. But I started with the most wrong reasons. Now the journey was funny though. Like, you know, I'm 18. I just joined college. Uske around half a month बाद I start going to this gym, and वहाँ जाके I'm like, you know, figuring out कि क्या होता है, इसको कैसे उठाना होता है. I'm doing YouTube at the same time and figuring out my things. And मैंने किया, and अगले दिन, you know, your body completely hurts. Like, every single part of your body hurt because your body is not used to these focused movements. So वो सब पेन वेन हो रहा है, and very humanly एक हफ्ते में you start questioning कि क्या ये करना ज़रूरी है. Like, you know, is it really worth it? सब कुछ इतना दर्द हो रहा है, उठने को नहीं हो रहा, चलने को नहीं हो रहा. एंड लाइफ वॉज सो गुड बिफोर दिस, राइट? यू नो, लाइक कोई टेंशन नहीं है, कोई चिल नहीं है. क्यों खामा मैं अपने आप को इतने पेन में लेके जा रहा हूँ? लाइक, इट लिटरली मेक्स नो सेंस. ह्यूमन एवोल्यूशन थ्रू आउट लाइफ वर्क टूवर्ड्स मेकिंग अ लाइफ ईजियर, and then you go into a physical space and zabardasti you're lifting stuff. So it makes no logical sense. I'm like, why am I going against evolution? And उस टाइम पे I'm like, you know what, नहीं, you know, it's gonna lead, you see those videos, Salman Khan coming out of water, you're like, you know what, I need that physique, करेंगे, and another couple of weeks go in. But the thing about working out and creating a physique is there is no instant gratification. Like, ऐसा नहीं आता कि एक बाइसेप मारा और एकदम से ऐसे, you know, muscle pop हो गया. नहीं हुआ. It never happens that way. And फिर there's a long journey, right? Like week by week, my motivation is dropping. I'm like, मैं कर रहा हूँ but हो नहीं पा रहा. I'm trying and trying and trying. And at that point, I was just sitting with a friend of mine, right? And this person has been always very sensitive, very philosophical, the way he talks, the things about what he talks, right? And this person tells me this one thing. He's like, बचपन में ना, we were told this story about this crow, like the thirsty crow. और बचपन में we are told a lot of these moral stories जहाँ पे why it's important to say the truth, the woodcutter and the golden axes and all that stuff. Like उस टाइम पे हम स्टोरी इतना सुन लेते हैं, बट लाइफ में मॉरलिटी तब तक नहीं आती तब स्ट्रगल्स नहीं आते. सो वी आर जस्ट लिसनिंग टू देम एज स्टोरीज. इट मेक्स नो सेंस टू अस. But just a refresher for everyone who's here. The story goes like this. There's this thirsty crow who wants to have some water. And there is a matka kept there. Now, matke mein pani hai, but bahut niche hai. And the crow cannot go in and take that water. So what he does is, he takes a stone and he keeps on putting in it. जब वो 2-4 स्टोन डालता है तो पानी थोड़ा ऊपर आता है. So the crow doesn't stop. वो स्टोन डालता रहता है. And eventually the water comes up. And I'm listening to him. I'm like, wait, is this supposed to make some sense? And he's like, you know what? अगर पत्थर डाल रहा है, there's only one way the water can go, and that is up. It's all about at what point do you give up on putting the stones. And in that space, I'm like, you know what? Let's try to do it. Let's put more stones. So I'm like, you know what? I don't care about results. All I'm going to do is I'm going to keep on putting that stones in that bucket. So I keep on doing it, right? I'm continuously going. It has been weeks after weeks. And while all of this is happening, the world is not very kind to you. Like, I was in NIFT. It's a college with 95% women. And in that kind of space, people start gossiping. And in that space, even men start gossiping because that's what you influence yourself with. And people who are seeing this, like, and in college wala maturity, people don't have the maturity to kind of go ahead and be like, you, let me support you in a journey. No one goes like that. People criticize. They're like, क्या कर रहा है, कुछ नहीं कर रहा, आजा chill कर ले, क्यों ही करना है. Some people are talking about that. Some people are not so kind with their words. They're like, कुछ हो तो रहा है नहीं. Like, my gym was at the ground floor of the girls' hostel. They're like, सुबह 5 बजे कौन लिंकिन पार्क के गाने बजा के तंग कर रहा है. Like, the world is not kind. And there were harsher things said. And they'll punch you to the ground and they'll keep kicking you. Like, all these growing in public, building in public, it's all about sharing achievements. But no one sees the work that is put into the hours that are not shared. No one shares those stories because वो तुम्हारा अपना struggle होता है. वो कोई और देखता नहीं and कोई और देख के appreciate भी नहीं करता. And this kept on going. And while all the punches and all the kicks, somehow, after 6 months, I checked and there was a vein that popped. And in that moment, I was like, wait a second. For me, something connected in my head in terms of those wires which said that, you know what, पत्थर डाल रहा है तो पानी ऊपर आएगा, पानी ऊपर आ रहा है. Like, कुछ चीज़ें लाइफ में उस दिन बहुत क्लियर हो गई थी कि if I put in the effort, result will come out. There is nothing else that can happen. There's only one possibility. It's all about how many पत्थर does this task take. And I was like, okay, perfect. And I think that was in 2012 to 16. And I don't think I have ever stopped since that day. Like, I have never stopped putting patthar. Like, it's always there. It's become like brushing for me, right? And it's a part of my routine because something clicked for me there, right? Now, a similar journey for me was around my academics. I was never like, someone who was very great at academics. I would be someone who top 10-15 में कहीं पे होता होगा. And I never really clicked in terms of, loving studies that much. Like, I was doing it because भाई सारी जनता कर रही है, मैं भी कर रहा हूँ. There is no goal attached to it. Now, in this college, I wanted to imagine, like, I was kind of creative as a kid, so I went there. Like, हर क्लास में वो जो 3 लोग होते हैं जो हर चार्ट बनाते रहते हैं, हर बार कोई जब भी फंक्शन होता है, तो I'm one of those 3 kids. But I can't paint, I just sketch and all those things. I got lucky, I got into this good college. But this college, what it does, it grabs those 3 kids from every school in every state to all parts of country, put them together, and then takes the cream out of them and put them in this fun space. सो जहाँ पे मैं सिर्फ स्केचिंग के भरोसे उछल रहा हूँ, वहाँ पे लोग टूथब्रश से गैलेक्सी पेंट कर रहे हैं. लाइक आई वॉज ब्लोन अवे बाय द फैक्ट कि इतना टैलेंट एक जगह आके कैसे इकट्ठा हो सकता है. सो वॉट आई हैड डन वॉज, मैंने थोड़ा कोशिश करा, देन आई गेव अप. लाइक ये मेरे से तो नहीं हो पा रहा, आई विल फोकस ऑन अदर थिंग्स. एंड अराउंड दैट टाइम समहाउ आई वॉज ऑल्सो डेटिंग दिस क्लास का टॉपर गर्ल. And during one of the conversations, I overheard her friend telling her, saying like, why are you with this guy? Like, he's going to bring you down too. Now, even though I was not excellent at this field, this was pure humiliation. Like, कुछ ज़्यादा प्रूव करने को नहीं था, बट थोड़ा ईगो तो होता है कि ऐसे कैसे बोल दिया. एंड at that point I was like, I'd rather show than tell. Like, let me put myself into the grind, I'll show them. Because दिमाग में अभी वो है कि first time I tried this, you put पत्थर, water comes up, concept is clear, let's do it all over again. And I'm doing this. At this point I'm like, करते हैं. In that one semester that was going on, like जी जान लगा के I started attending all the classes, I'm all in all group projects, I'm paying attention, I'm doing all the work, I'm running around doing assignments, working for my jury presentation, सब कुछ कर रहा हूँ, right? Around this point I'm in something around 5 point something, like in a class of 35 people, I'm like 30 से 35 के बीच में किसी रैंक पे मैं हूँ. Me and मेरे पंटर, like हम खुश हैं जहाँ पे भी हैं, हमें फ़र्क नहीं पड़ा, but now I'm trying to improve myself. It took a lot of hard work that semester, right? Around the end of the semester, I think 5.8 से my new GPA went to like 6.2. My rank moved up by 3 people. And I'm like, shit, was it worth it? इसके लिए इतना effort डाला, क्यों करूँ मैं? And in that space, at one point I was like, fuck it, नहीं करने का. And then suddenly the whole analogy of patthar and kaua and matka came. I'm like, maybe this is a bigger matka. Maybe it requires more stones. And one thing I was like, if I have proven this concept once before, then I can prove it again. Like, I'm not like किसी और से हार सकना चलेगा, खुद से नहीं हारेगा. And I went in for that. It took me a lot of hard work another semester for my classmates to realize that, oh shit, Adil has started working. It took another semester for my classmates to realize that, hey, this guy is a threat. It took another semester for teachers to perceive me differently, because what they had till now perceived me as was this, a fun kid, doesn't study. Now they had to think about me differently. It took me another semester of the same continuous rigor, by the end of which, when the results came out, I remember we had this WhatsApp class group, and someone says, guys, results are out, check your marks. And when I went to check that list, what I see is मेरे नाम के साइड में ना there is this, I was just checking this list and like there's 9.8 GPA written. And I'm like, आगे पीछे किसी का होगा, न्यूमेरिकली चेंज होता है, let me look at clearly. फिर मैंने ऐसे लाइन ड्रॉ किया उस पर, and like नहीं, ये तो मेरा ही दिखा रहा है. And I'm like, wait, what a second, seriously? And फिर क्लास में someone said, oh, highest is Atul. And I'm like, and this is very new for me, like I want to be very honest about it. इससे पहले क्लास फर्स्ट में मैं शायद थर्ड आया था. मेरे माँ बाप को ये खुशी ज़्यादा मिली नहीं है लाइफ में, सो इट्स वेरी हार्ड फॉर इवन मी टू बिलीव. एंड एट दैट पॉइंट समवन सेज, हे व्हाट, इंडिया में टॉप किसने किया? एंड देन देयर लाइक, एंड बाय द वे निफ्ट हैज़ लाइक 17 सेंटर्स ऑल ओवर इंडिया, दिल्ली, बॉम्बे, एंड इट टर्न्स आउट टू बी इट वाज मी. एंड I think there are some very life-changing moments that happen in everyone's life. And for me, like, there's this single core truth that came out to me that day that was like, dude, पत्थर डालेगा पानी ऊपर आएगा. There is nothing that can make me not believe it at this point in time. It's not about how much time it takes. It's not about कितना डाला, कितना life is, rude, like how much struggles you're facing through life. Like, no matter what happens, अगर तू पत्थर डालेगा पानी ऊपर आएगा. And that's the story that I don't think मैं कभी भी इसके अलावा कुछ और believe कर सकता हूँ. And that's the thing now. Like, for me, this is the truth of my life. And the funny thing about world is, people will never know this, right? What people will see is कि, okay, LinkedIn पे where are you right now, which job you're doing, what's the position that you're holding. People will say things like, if you're, if you have a good physical body, you have a good physique, they'll say, oh, good genetics. if you are doing good in life, they're like, oh, you know what, you must have got good education, good college, you got lucky. Like, people will always judge you with your present. They will never know the past, and they will never know the past that is never put out in the social media. That's always under the layers. What really matters is what you put in when no one's watching. And everything that you see out there is when people share the small achievements that they're going through, right? And taking that learning, like me, I was a graphic designer when I started. I moved to UI in a very similar story. But the main takeaway that I want you to imagine is getting good at UI is no different. So when I was going through this journey, I didn't have anyone at my corner who was like, you know what, do this, isse hoega, isse hoega. I had to make my own mistakes, I had to learn from them. But, you know, being here, I want to make sure that you have me by your corner. And that's how Build as a concept started. Like, I never got to talk to you guys about it, but when the first session of Build started, I wrote a message on this Discord which said that, hey guys, listen, who all of you want to be good at UI? And a lot of people raised their hands. And it's like, you know what? Only people who are ready to burn everything that they have. It's gonna take time, it's gonna take effort, it's gonna take sweat, blood, everything. Only people who are ready to give in that, join a call tomorrow. I want to discuss something with you guys. And I think around 300 people had raised their hand, only 160 joined. So there's a good filtering that happened there. And I think out of that, when we converted this into a gamification format, only 84 people came in further. So I didn't get a chance to be this way, but this is a disclaimer of this framework. This is gonna take every single bit, iota of strength that you have in you to get here, because in order to get something you never had, you'll have to do something you never did. There is no shortcut around this. This is pure rigor. This is a test of pure perseverance and nothing else. So let me describe what this framework looks like, right? So the first 4 weeks of the 12 weeks, we'll give you shots that you have to replicate. And these are the most admired shots from Dribble. And तुम्हारा काम simple है, देख के सिर्फ छापना है. Like, I want you to understand, you know, the process of font pairing, composition, white spacing, ये बंदे ने क्या use किया है, क्यों use किया है. All those answers will not come with one shot, but when you create something every single day ना, तुम्हारे subconscious में कुछ चीज़ें attach होने लग जाएंगी around why these things should happen. The next 4 weeks after that, we'll give you these, you know, individualistic prompts where you will do research on Dribble, on Pinterest, on awards, where you say that, you know what, I like this of this, this of this. Mera question of my problem statement was this, but I like this. I'll put all of it together and I'll make it my own. You will be focusing on creating a lot of designs around that. You will be analyzing what are the current trends and how you can bake them into what you are creating. If AI is the new thing, how can my normal sign-up flow integrate that? Like, तुम्हारा दिमाग, आंखें, सब कुछ चलेगा उन अगले 4 weeks में. And the 4 weeks after that, we'll give you prompts that will ask you to animate as well. Because up tak na, when you keep on creating screens, your brain kind of starts functioning in a way where you think about things in terms of segments, in terms of, you know, like, okay, sign up screen is पहले ये डाल दो, फिर ये डाल दो. But every good flow, every good UX design is actually just storytelling. And once you start integration motion now, you stop imagining things as screens, but you start thinking of them as stories. And that is very important part of it. And I personally champion motion design as a very important skill for every product designer that is out there. Now, while all of this happens, this framework continues, a very important part of it is this journey cannot be isolated. This journey cannot be like, you know what, Rohit अकेले रोज डिज़ाइन करता है, अपने में डिज़ाइन करके रख लेता है और किसी को बताता नहीं है. Like, no great artist was ever created that way. Like, I want you to imagine the first times when you were in those drawing competitions when you were in school, right? तो जब बैठ के तुम ऐसे ड्रॉ कर रहे होते हो ना, तो धीरे धीरे अराउंड द एंड यू सी पीपल स्टार्ट गैदरिंग अराउंड यू. तुम्हें पता चल जाता है कि तुमने ना मचा दिया. Like, it's like before likes and comments and reshares existed ना, this was real life validation. ये तब मिलता था. And it was never around कि तुम कैसे दिखते हो, तुमने क्या पहन रखा है. It's always about कि तुमने क्या बनाया है. And trust me, Dribble के 4 likes ना Instagram के 400 likes से बहुत ज़्यादा value रखते हैं. Because that is your soul put into something. That's not what was gifted to you or what you acquired. It was something that you just made out of nothing. So it's very important for you to put it out there, because ये जो लोग तुम्हारे आसपास gather हुए हैं ना, these are the people who really need to see you grow, because these are the recruiters, these are the design team members who will be, who will let you join them in the future. And at that point you need them around, because कल को 3 महीने बाद रोहित आके बोलेगा कि आज मैं मस्त डिज़ाइनर बन गया. Like there is no way to communicate that. But what people see is, you know what, Rajdeep started here. Rajdeep started with these designs, and Rajdeep never stopped creating and posting. Every day he's posting continuously, and they are seeing कि oh, you know what, last week ये था, इस week राजीव ने भाई मोशन डाल दिया है, इस week राजदीप ने भाई क्या ही बना दिया. Like they will literally be with you in your journey. They'll witness this, they'll watch you grow. And I want you to take a challenge among yourselves that, you know what, I'm gonna make this story worthwhile. Just watch it with me. Watch me grow as I progress in this space. And why this is also important is, not every day you will feel motivated. Not every day you will feel like आज वापस ये बनाता हूँ, because this is not fun. This is pure rigor. तुम जला रहे हो रोज़ खुद को 1%. और उन दिनों में what you will make you still do it, because someone DM'd you that day saying that, you know what bro, तुम्हें देख के ना मेरे को इतना अच्छा लगा, I also want to do it someday, like you inspire me so much. उस दिन तुम खुद के लिए डिज़ाइन नहीं करोगे, उस दिन तुम उस बंदे के लिए डिज़ाइन करोगे. और इतने लोग जो इन्होंने शायद DM नहीं किया, बट उन्हें लग रहा है कि वो भी कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज दे गेट इंस्पायर्ड बाय सीइंग व्हाट यू आर डूइंग, बिकॉज यू हैव दैट इम्पैक्ट, एंड दैट इज़ सो इम्पॉर्टेंट. सो you will be posting every day on Dribble, on Instagram, on the Discord showcase channel of what you have made. Every week का एक batch बना के you'll put it on LinkedIn and Twitter, and you'll give credits to the people whose work you're replicating और जहाँ से भी तुम inspiration ले रहे हो. But your journey will be out there in public. People will watch you grow. Now, by the end of it, what I can promise you is, you will be far better at UI than what you started with. People will know of you and your journey, and most probably you'll have a couple of opportunities in hand when you end it around here. And this thing is gonna be 5 days a week, and every week there will be these very kind souls who will be tallying your work, who will be giving you prompts. Like there are a lot of people who are supporting you in this journey, who don't really have to, but they're doing it because they want us to grow together as a community. So these people will be putting in the time to kind of make sure that you're on time, you're putting your work before Monday mornings so that they can sync up and the elimination process can happen. But here's the catch, this is not open to everyone. Like in terms of like I want to be so clear about it. We don't want 1,000 people, we don't want 500 people to join this. Like last time 84 people joined, only 21 made it to the end. I didn't want 81 people to join, I just wanted those 21. And I don't have anything against them. I just feel like ये इतना rigorous journey है ना, like I don't want to take it lightly. Like the people who stayed till the end, I think they had put in around $1,000. By the end they had 4,000. But I would actually want you to ask all of them individually. They don't give a flying fuck about those 4,000. उनको उनसे एक घंटा फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, because वो सिर्फ चेरी है. So if anyone is here with that motivation around, if I put in that money, I get some X percentage of it, that is not true. If that is the motivation to be here, please don't. Like I'm so sure Zerodha वगैरह कहीं पे लगा, उसका कुछ percentage extra बन जाएगा, यहाँ पे शायद नहीं बनेगा. This is not that space. Only people who are ready to like literally burn themselves for 90 days because they want to be that transformative self of themselves, what will come out of this, like there's this beautiful quote that I heard somewhere which said, अगर सूरज जैसा चमकना है तो सूरज जैसा जलना होगा. Like if वो किसी भी level पे hit कर रहा है ना, only then be a part of this. And things have been through us different this time, even around the financial part of these things. It's no longer 1,000 rupees to get in, it's 5,000, because it needs to matter. It needs to be an amount जो तुम हंसते खेलते नहीं देके घुस सकते. Only if you feel like इसका part मुझे बनना है, only then you get in. This has to be gate kept that way. These very kind-hearted souls who are gonna check your work, who are gonna invest their time over the span of next 3 months, uh, I don't think all of us together can ever compensate them for that kind of work, but it has to be at least some token of appreciation for it. So a major part of it goes there. A small part of this amount goes into this pool that we are creating. I think it's going to be 1/5 of this that we can gather, and that will be divided amongst the people who sustain by the end of it. Baki, Modi ji takes 30% of it very happily, so can't help that. Build 1.0 may we didn't do that. We said, you know what, we were financially lame, so we said we'll give everything. I think we had to pump in some amount of our own money to kind of make that possible. But 2.0 has to be smarter because my CA will kill me otherwise. So that is how we are planning to kind of go about it. And to move further, we have around, we have two winners of Build 1.0 challenge. And everything that I told you about, they actually went through this journey. Like I'm speaking my own experiences that are not into this, but these guys have sustained through this. They have come out, and I would want them to share their experiences around what they gave in for this, what they gave out. Because see, a lot of very obvious questions are coming in right now, right? People are saying that, hey, you know what, I'm traveling for 2 weeks, मैं उस टाइम पे शायद ना कर पाऊँ, मेरा शायद थोड़ा काम ज़्यादा बढ़ गया. Like to be honest, these are all real problems. But if you're so sure that you cannot pull this through, then I would say don't waste your money in this, because this is literally like, I remember there were people who were sick and they still did it because they didn't want to. Like these guys are who are like 60% into this game, they cannot leave now. There are people who dropped out at the last week, and I can only understand how painful that was. Not because it was about the money, but it was about a commitment to yourself. It was about, you know what, मुझे ये करना है because I've made a promise to myself, but they couldn't because of very serious reasons. Like my own sister was in Build 1.0 and she dropped at the last week because her laptop crashed, and she tried everything to get that laptop. It was assignment month, everything. She just couldn't get a laptop in 2 days. Like there are people who are disheartened. So people who joined in 1.0, all 81 of them were winners, and it's not like they all left in the first week. They were there till the last week. It takes every single inch of you to make it to the end. It's going to be that hard. And I'll let Rajdeep and Rohit actually share their real experiences around it. And yeah, over to you guys. Who's going to go first?
Let's see what first. Okay. Hi guys. So I am Rajdeep and I'm from Kolkata. So yeah, so like you guys, like 3 months ago, Atul came on a call and introduced us to what build is and what we can be after build 1.0 ends. So I really like that idea because at that time I was not working anywhere, and obviously I did not have any portfolio or any case study to show to or to to apply to any company as well. So I thought, let's try this. Even if I don't make it till the end, it will be a win-win situation because I will be, getting, upskilled in, both visual design and UX design skills as well. So I started it. So the first week I remember was very strenuous because he gave us like some designs to replicate, and it was like 5 designs a week, and it was so hard to to absolutely like 100% replicate those designs because they were like dribble first, and you know how fancy dribble first get, right? So we had to like put in the efforts, and after the first week, I think someone also mentioned, "Hey guys, can you like lower down the difficulty a bit?" But yeah, but we kept on going, and then so actually I'll share some stories. So since childhood, I always wanted to work with with animation. So I was very obsessed with animated movies like Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, and all those things. So animation was something very close to me. And with Build, I got more chance to to showcase my motion design skills. So the first motion design I did for Build was when Phase 2 started. So the prompt was something like we have to create a website for an e-commerce site, right? So I just made the design and use some motion in it, and Once I uploaded it, I just got a notification कि Atul Khola has like shared it in his story, and I was like, what did just happen right now? Like, क्या हो रहा है ये? But and then people started following me in my Insta account. Like, I'm not much, very active on Insta, but I saw the growth. I saw, okay, I must have done something right. So from that point onwards, it's a funny thing. But my goal was to like in 1 week I have to make something that good that Atul shares it. That was
Okay, I
my
didn't
goal.
know about this, by the way.
So that was my goal. So that went pretty good. So I think Atul has probably shared most of my designs once every week. So I went on creating a geometric pattern animation, which was inspired by Fonstance. I guess you guys know who Fonstance is. So he runs 10x designers. He liked it, and even he shared it on his story. And I was like, okay, this is going good. When I was so this was going on, I was like having quite fun. And one day I see he like one company was hiring, and I was not sure whether I was I can apply to it because as I said, I didn't have any portfolio or any strong case study to showcase, but I still did. And later on, I went on a call with them, and later on, I got selected. So that company was Growth School, and now I work at Growth School as a product design intern. And I would again like to thank Bill and Atul and all the other teammates. So because without Bill, I don't think I would have gotten this chance. So yeah, that was mostly my story.
I still remember I got a message from Rajdeep saying, "Bro, मेरा ना job, मेरा internship लग गया." Like, क्या बात कर रहे हैं सही में? And then he was like, "Which one?" And dude, like, growth school, 10K, like all these are like big guys. So scoring an internship there is, and I think you have some crazy good people at design. I think King Siddharth,
Yeah,
like there are some
yeah.
brilliant people who are leading this. So to be a part of a team like this and to grow and learn from them, like they're literally the best in the industry. Like I think great work, man. I think तुमने काफी सही मचा
Thank,
दिया.
thank you. Also, I would also like to mention one more thing. The fact that you are training people to to get your work out. So I would also add to like the benefit of that is the people notice you. So one thing that happened when the person who was interviewing me, she asked me to show some of my work, and I opened my Instagram because I was uploading my work on Instagram only. And she said, "Oh, okay, so you are this person. I think I've seen your work." So that somehow clicked, and later on I got that opportunity. So guys, get your work out everywhere: Twitter, Insta, Dribble, even LinkedIn, do whatever you want, but get your work out.
That's great, Rajdeep. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks.
Rohit sir, we'll go next.
Yes. Congrats, Arvind. What a story, man.
Thank you.
so अभी बहुत सारे नए लोग हैं तो मैं I share my story and you guys can relate to it. Yeah. So let me introduce myself. So I'm currently working as a design lead in an IT company in Ahmedabad, and I have like 7 years of experience in design. But after having 7 years of experience, I used to doubt my abilities. I have no confidence in my design. I'm not posting my design in social media or anywhere. So yeah. So in this 90 days, I have built my confidence, and I have recognized my design style. I have valued my work, and not in the only design, but every aspect of my life. How to showcase your design, how to express your design, कि कैसे बनाते हैं लोगों को कैसे दिखाना है लोगों को कैसे समझाना है तो इसमें बहुत सारे इम्प्रूवमेंट्स आए हैं एंड अतुल आपको अगर याद होगा तो पहले मीटअप में जब मैंने बात किया था तो आई हैव जीरो कॉन्फिडेंस लाइक I can't even talk in public or any kind of video call. So yes, मैंने अपना खुद का एक कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डअप किया है तो अभी मैं बहुत सारे वर्कशॉप ले रहा हूँ लोगों को मेंटर कर रहा हूँ। लोग मुझे डीएम करते हैं कि भाई ये कैसे कर रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो, तो या आई एम हेल्पिंग देम आउट। एंड ऑल्सो एक बात होता है कि अगर डिजाइन बना रहे हैं हम लोग, तो if you are creating for ourselves, the timeline, the deadline goes and goes and goes. So the best part is to be in a community. Each बहुत सारे कम्युनिटी मेंबर्स होंगे जो आपको पुश करेंगे, आपके डीएम को मोटिवेट करना, आपके डीएम को अप्रिशिएट करेंगे। आपको भी एक कंपटीशन में जैसे फील लगेगा वो लोग कैसे कर पा रहे हैं, मैं क्यों नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ। ये एक मोटिवेशन ना हमेशा रहेगा और आप डिजाइन बना पाओगे जल्दी जल्दी। सो हाँ, ये तो हो गया सब मोटिवेशन वाली बात है। मैं थोड़ा सा फ्लैक्स कर लेता हूँ थोड़ा। तो मैं जॉब के लिए अप्लाई नहीं किया था, नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं जॉब के लिए अप्लाई नहीं किया था, बट आफ्टर दैट आई हैव गॉट लाइक 20 to 30 जॉब ऑफर्स फ्रॉम लिंक्डइन, ड्रिबल, बिहाइंड, इंस्टाग्राम, एवरीवेयर। एंड फ्रीलांसिंग की तो मतलब बहुत सारे, वाह। और बहुत 2-3 फाउंडर से मैंने बात किया जो लोग कि पार्ट टाइम पे मुझे अपना ईसॉप्स एंड कंपनी के शेयर्स देने को के लिए रेडी है, उनके लिए सिर्फ काम करने के लिए, पार्ट टाइम में, फुल टाइम भी नहीं, पार्ट टाइम। तो यस, यू कैन अचीव दिस काइंड ऑफ रिजल्ट इन 90 days। या सो अगर सोशल मीडिया का बात करूँ तो आई हैव लाइक 10 to रिफ्रेश कर रहा हूँ ना, 1 मिनट। 10,917, 10,917 followers in Dribble, and yes, everywhere, LinkedIn, Instagram, everywhere, people are coming to my DM, appreciating my work, saying this is कुछ बता रहे कि लोग आपको डीएम करेंगे कि आप आपके काम को देख के मैं इंस्पायर हो रहा हूँ। तो यस, people will recognize you and ask for help, so everything। बट ये सब तो ठीक है, बट एक वन थिंग आई वांट टू ऐड इनटू दैट कि नेवर वर्क फॉर रिजल्ट, मतलब रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड कभी काम मत करो। मैं जब स्टार्ट किया था तो आई हैव ए गोल दैट आई वांट टू अपस्किल माय यूआई डिजाइन एंड ओवरऑल डिजाइन एंड मोशन, एंड to showcase my work to the world. So this is my goal. And after doing design every day in posting, people will recognize you. People started recognizing me. And अभी ऐसे ऐसे लोग मुझे डीएम किए हैं कि मैं अभी बता नहीं सकता, लिंक्डइन शेयर नहीं करूंगा, कि आप लोग जो भी टॉप कंपनीज के नाम दोगे ना इंडिया में, नॉट इन इंडिया, बाहर से भी जो भी टॉप कंपनी के नाम बताओगे, उनके फाउंडर्स, उनके डिजाइन लीड, उनके प्रोडक्ट डिजाइनर, सारे लोग मुझे डीएम किए हैं। So yeah, that feel good। और ये 90 डेज ना आपके लाइफ के बहुत ही रिमार्केबल डेज होने वाले हैं, अगर इफ यू डेडिकेट योर टाइम एंड एनर्जी। यस, it's not going to be easy, but yes, if you do it, then it's going to be amazing। Yeah, so this is my story। Thank you।
Thank you so much for sharing. Like, I think we're talking after a long time. I think I saw
Yeah.
Rajdeep in person for the first time, and I think I've spoken to Rohit after a long time. So
Yeah.
looks like a lot of new good developments have happened. So congratulations.
Very good।
Bro, 10,000 तो I think मेरे 2,000 भी नहीं ड्रिबल में।
Yeah।
Great job there, man. Great job. Super happy for you. Nice. And I think right now, I think for both of these guys, I think the happiness has taken over in terms of them not remembering how hard the 90 days were there. And I remember, I think I got a message from Rajdeep who was saying that, hey bro, I'm gonna move, but and I have like a job and everything sorted, but don't think that's gonna stop me from like completing this. Like मैं तब भी उसको end तक complete करेगा. And to be honest, Rajdeep did. Like I think he literally took it to the very last day with all his moving between cities and jobs and everything. So I think, yeah, these guys are very generous when they tell you what all the good things, but I can tell you that there were times when they were sick, when there was a lot of work in office, when there were some family functions, some issues, personal issues that are going on. Like, life will not stop. It'll punch you, it'll kick you, you'll be down, but it's all about can you keep going? And yeah, I think this ये this is gonna be that whole शाहरुख भाई 70 मिनट but 90 days बहुत गंदी लगने वाली है, बट अगर निकाल लिया तो देर इज नो स्टॉपिंग यू गाइस. उसके बाद इट्स ऑल गोना बी फकिंग अमेजिंग आफ्टर दिस.
सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट अतुल, मैं ना जस्ट एक छोटा सा स्टोरी बताना चाहूँगा. आई थिंक इन लास्ट वीक ऑफिस से मैं लेट आया, आई थिंक अराउंड 11 or 12 and I slept, okay, but I haven't finished the last project to submit. तो 1 घंटा के आसपास मैंने सोया था और पता नहीं ऑटोमेटिक में उठ गया कि प्रो लो ऐसे तो नहीं होता. आखिरी हफ्ता बचा है, यू हैव टू डू. मतलब अंदर से ना एक आवाज है कि नहीं भाई इतना तो नहीं हो सकता, भले ही तेरी फटी पड़ी है कोई बात नहीं करना तो पड़ेगा. तो या तो 90 डेज में लगने वाली है सबकी, तो ये तो मार्क कर लो एंड यू हैव टू स्ट्रगल अराउंड दैट. या
आई थिंक वी मेड रोहित अकाउंटेबल मोर टू अस देन हिमसेल्फ. आई थिंक लोगों ने इतना बोल दिया था इट्स लाइक कि
हाँ
अपना हो जाएगा, औरों को लेट डाउन नहीं कर पाऊंगा इसमें. But yeah, guys, I think this is what encompasses what 2.0 is gonna be like. And like I would say, like, see, at any point now, don't compare us to a growth school or a 10k designer or a 10x designer. Like, हम बहुत छोटे हैं. We are not even a company. We don't have any funding. अपना कुछ नहीं है. We are just trying to build some frameworks which we feel is a gap that exists out there. I think we don't want to be, with one of those folks who either shit on UI design or say that one is more important than the other. We want to create a way to, fix for it. We want to create a way where you can get better at it. And somehow some really nice people have come together to take out that time of their day in their busy lives, because these guys have nothing to prove. They are just here to help you out because they just feel like they would want to be there for someone like someone was there for them. So it's a small set of people who are volunteering their time and efforts into this. So not at any single point try to compare, like this conversation was literally me talking to you in a cafe. Like, this was not me wearing a jacket or having a crazy good background and just talking to you in a high quality this thing. I don't even know how to stream properly. So this is just us coming together trying to do something good. This whole thing is going to be pretty scary. So, and don't think that because you have paid, you're locked in. If any one of you feels like, I'm not ready for this challenge but I've already paid, drop a message to us and we will make sure that you get your money back. But before Tuesday, uske baad, because this takes time, so don't tangle us with that, but feel completely free. This is nothing about कि अब दे दिया तो मैं फंस गया. feel free to opt out if you have to. But अगर अंदर आ रहे हो ना, तो ऐसे आना कि एंड तक जाना है. And I think that is all we expect from you. We don't want to make anything out of it. We just want कि अगर ये लोग अपना टाइम निकाल के तुम पे इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं ना, तुम अपने लिए कुछ अच्छा करो, बट इनको भी वो रिटर्न्स दो. लाइक if they are giving their heart into this, you do the same. And yeah, and for those who don't know Sayan is going to be the lead of this project, where he's someone who has helped out everyone in Build 1.0 to kind of, have the prompts every single day. There is team of Tejas, Shafin, Aditi, so many people who have come together to kind of, make this thing possible. There's Kailash, there's so many names that I'm so sorry I can't even take right now, but there are a lot of people who come together to make this happen. So yeah, I think a great thanks to all of them. They're going to be your guardians for the next 3 months for whoever takes part in it. And yeah, if there are any questions, like the broad ones, we can answer them here. And if there are more detailed, nuanced ones, I think you can ping us on Discord. I think Sayan is your go-to guy, or drop them in general. And I think everyone who is from Build 1.0, they are trying to answer queries that people have. So yeah, we'd love to answer it there as well. But if there's anything here, do let us know. We'd love to answer that. Rohit bro, how comfortable are you with screen share? Like, can you tell, because my iPad just died, so I can't see the comments.
Yeah.
Is it possible to share your screen?
Yeah. Sure.
And I don't want to touch this because I think ये touch किया तो ये खराब हो जाएगा, फिर मालिक आके मारेगा मेरे को. Thank you so much, bro. Thanks, everyone. Yes, June 1. Yes, it is from June 1st. Okay, that's the date. I'm not well versed with motion design, graphic design. Should I join the course? Yeah, so I think, folks, just think about this. You don't need to don't need to be good at any of this. This is not a platform that tries to, judge you based on the quality of work that you're producing. This is a pure game of consistent perseverance. Like, it's not never gonna be about how good you are at UI from another person who participated. It is only about where you start. It's your own journey. It's no one else's one. So if you join in, you'll be better than the previous version of you. That is something that we can promise out of this. That's bound to happen. पत्थर डालोगे पानी ऊपर आएगा. No question about that, right? So everything that you don't know, you will learn in the process. It will burn you out, but you will have all of these people who are with you in a very similar boat. You will have to go through YouTube to learn some Figma tricks. If you're not knowing something, you have a dedicated a channel to yourself on Discord where you can post it out there. And one of your friends will also be doing that, so he's going to be like, oh, you know what, this is how I did it. And I think that's how it happened in Build 1.02. There were people who were not getting how to do a certain thing when the other person who did it kind of helped. People were sharing resources, people were sharing video recordings of how they did something. So you will have that, so don't worry about it. In terms of UI, motion, Figma, everyone is just growing along with you. There are people who started from just, moving alphabet super niche to now literally moving pages around in motion. So it happens when you give a good reason to know that. Okay, what's the next one? Ben is I think that Sayan has already answered. Rohit bro, do you see a question that should be answered here?
People are answering all the questions, I think.
Like anything more broad that I should pick up maybe?
Can we get every day's form without being a part of the challenge?
Can I get salary without working? Can I get food without earning? Like, ये कैसा सवाल है नहीं यार? Like, I'm telling you, like, the reason we didn't open source is this because this is something that you're gonna invest on yourself. This is not about anything else. अगर तुम अपने ऊपर invest करने में sure नहीं हो, then why would someone else invest in you, right? So, like I said, this is not gonna be fun. This is not for someone who's looking to, just maybe spend some time designing. This is only for the most hard-willed. So, अगर उसमें कोई भी doubt है, this is not, and that is completely fine. Maybe your why is not strong right now. Maybe it will be after, some months or some other year, and you can pick it up then if we are still doing this. But if you feel like you don't have that, motivation right now, if you don't have the mind space to pick something up like this right now, don't do it. Like, spend that time somewhere else, spend that money somewhere else. Why would you want to do it here?
Next question is, for a senior or junior level designer who is working full time, how much time on an average will this challenge take to complete in a day?
I think this is to you, Rohit. You answer this.
So the thing is, if you want to do, you have to do. मैं भी फुल टाइम वर्क करता हूँ, बट या यू हैव टू डू इट. अगर आपको चाहिए अपना स्किल्स को अपस्किल करना है तो दैट्स योर what you have to take challenge for yourself. Can we still attempt the prompt even after we get eliminated? Maybe not part of the challenge, but
yeah, I think you'll be a part of the group, so you'll have the prompts to yourselves. I just like that's what I'm saying here. तुम पहले ही क्यों डर रहे हो? Like why would you even ask a question saying that अगर eliminate हो गया तो like उसको kill करो ना. Like तुमने सब कुछ किया और फिर भी नहीं कर पाए is a stance that I can accept कि भाई बहुत रह गया था, बट पहले से अगर तुम routes ढूंढ रहे हो तो नहीं हो पाएगा. And trust me, अगर तुम तब नहीं कर पाए, तो एलिमिनेट होने के बाद देयर इज़ ओनली लेसर मोटिवेशन इफ़ नॉट मोर. सो आई डोंट थिंक दैट्स अ वेरी ग्रेट वे टू थिंक अबाउट इट, बट विद ऑल प्रैक्टिकलिटी येस, यू विल स्टिल सी दोज प्रॉम्प्ट्स.
How will elimination work?
Elimination works in a very manual way. So when you post all, and I think those details I think we'll share with you once Build 2.0 starts, which is around I think Thursday, or Wednesday. I think Thursday this coming week. So you will be putting your everyday submissions on a Figma file. The volunteers and the moderators and the leads of this project will check it on Monday morning at a certain time. They will disclose the time with you guys. उससे पहले तुम्हारे शॉट्स वहाँ पे होने चाहिए इज़ द ओनली थिंग, because see, life will happen. Someday you'll have a crazy Monday, Tuesday, so you'll not be able to do it then, but you'll have to pull it through those Wednesday, Thursday. Some people pulled it through the weekend. Like तुम्हें जो करना है करो, जैसे मैनेज करना है करो. The ideal way should be हर दिन का हर दिन करो, but we know life doesn't work that way. But Monday को एक बार सुबह जाके चेक होता है, उससे पहले if you have posted you are safe. अगर नहीं तो हो जाएगा. And I have witnessed the eliminations, sorry, I've witnessed the madness of this around the last phase. I think I've shared it with 1.0 people. Like I was on a small trip with my parents in Goa, and while coming back I saw airport पे someone working on build 1.0. So I was like भाई गोवा एयरपोर्ट पे बैठ के अगर तुम ये कर रहे हो तो मतलब कुछ अलग लेवल ऑफ मोटिवेशन ही चल रहा होगा, I'm sure. But yeah, I think that's how this thing works kind of.
One more question. For the motion design prompts, will there be held provided like tutorials or so for people who are new to motion?
I think, see, YouTube is your help. And the motion is also not something where you will be told कि यार page घुमा के ऐसे करो वैसे करो. No one's gonna ask you that. They are gonna ask you to, hey, why don't you animate this? And someone who is well versed with motion will, घुमाओ the page and everything. But someone who's starting out will just maybe move the characters up and down. Like there is no comparison in terms of तुमने क्या किया in terms of motion. It's always about कि जो तुमने पहले किया था उससे better किया कि नहीं. And that's what this is all about. So you will have people who are also there joining with you. They'll share what they are referring to. But you are gonna be looking on YouTube in terms of what you want to do. It's never gonna start by let me छापो a tutorial, because I don't think that's a great way to learn a tool or by intent. You first need to know तुम्हें करना क्या है. So you figure out the what by yourself, and the how is always answered by your committee members, by your colleagues, by your friends, and by YouTube. Like your biggest strength is all the people, the X number of people who are going to be with you during this journey. They will be helping each other out throughout, and I think that's the power of DesginDrug as a community. People are super fucking nice, so you'll never have that kind of problem. Okay, let's do last two questions, and any other nuanceical questions, I think drop it on the general channel and we will try to answer them.
I just want to know what happens in terms of judging if people end up creating a similar UI for the same prompt.
बहुत मुश्किल है ब्रो. लाइक एवरीवन इज़ सो यूनिक इन देयर ओन वे. आई डोंट थिंक ऐसा हो पाएगा कि तुमने सेम डिज़ाइन बना लिया हो. अगर किसी और का आर्टबोर्ड उठा के छाप दिया तो पता चल जाएगा. वो मत करना. बट आई डोंट थिंक इट्स ह्यूमनली पॉसिबल. लाइक यू गाइज आर वे टू यूनिक मैन. तुम दो लोग बैठ के सेम चीज़ नहीं बना पाओगे, कोशिश करोगे तब भी. ओके, लास्ट क्वेश्चन.
Is it called like अब और unique questions नहीं है कुछ I think. Yeah.
One thing that I can add, yeah, so all of you are asking about like eliminations around the judge. You will mostly compare based on like consistency. Like here, like all like main purpose of DesginDrug and like whole build is like what are the measures? Like consistently you keep on showing up every day and creating something new. Doesn't matter if you're starting out or you have a ton of experience, whatever quality of work you put out. It's like more about like showing up every day and doing it instead of like creating the best thing ever. So if you are like just starting and thinking, okay, my work might not be that good compared to someone I see on Instagram or like Dribble, just don't worry. Just take part in it. It's about learning and about growing. What you put out is not important. The fact that you put it out every day is like what will matter here. So yeah.
Rightly said. Your only competition is you. You're not competing with anyone, you're just growing together. And your only spectrum of growth is your own. You're not competing with them, you're growing with them. So just have that in mind. Right? Perfect. I think, yeah, this is all we had to share for you guys. I think this is an idea of everything Build 2.0 is going to be about. And yeah, we look forward to all of you nice people coming and joining us. Cool. We are closing the enrollment window on Tuesday. So keep that in mind. I think last time we had to open it for 2 more days because people kept coming in. This time we kept the window much longer than the usual. So yeah, this is what it is. Take your time to think about it. Tuesday tak jo bhi karna hai kar dena. Then we'll make the batches. And yeah, see, like I said, we are not a product, we are not a big company. So people who are paying, if you're adding your screenshot in the form, it's reaching us. We will sit on Tuesday, gather everything and add everyone in there. So don't be anxious कि मैंने डाला but किसी ने revert back नहीं किया. नहीं कर सकते, बहुत छोटे हैं हम लोग, ठीक है? So please bear with us while we are this. And yeah, looking forward to you guys. Chalo. Bye bye. Take care. Thanks for
Bye.
listening.
Bye.